Welcome to another episode of Rose Resource Room. I'm here with Ginger from Chatting with CHAP. Hey, Ginger.
Hello.
And we are going to be doing an end of year recap. I know it sounds bananas that we're already talking about the end of 2025. I don't know about you, but for me, like in January, I keep writing 2025 for like a couple weeks until I remember the new year.
Yeah.
But we're going to just like reflect, talk about like moments that life became the lesson. We're going to talk about reminders, encouragements. I'm just going to share some general goals and visions. So let's jump in. Ginger, how you
Mhm.
doing?
What was that?
How are you doing, lady? How are you
How
doing?
I doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I mean, there's been a lot, and I'll get into it later as we talk through our recap or whatever, but um I don't know. Yeah, just doing well.
That's good. So I normally have a theme. I don't think I had a theme for 2025. Sometimes I have like resilience and like all these different themes or names for the year going into it. And then sometimes at the end, I'm like, all right, well, this was the real theme. But I'll just say in general, 2025 was a great year. I got to see you at the Midwinter Conference. I saw you again in the summer for the CHAP convention. Then we're together in Texas, which was amazing. But if I had to think of one moment where life became the lesson, it would absolutely be in August when I broke two bones in my ankle and literally just slowed all the way down. I'm talking about 10 weeks of immobilization, wearing a boot, not being very mobile. And when I say it became the lesson, it wasn't just, I learned to trust God and I learned to be humble. Like it wasn't things like that. It was literally the lesson. We went from whatever science we're doing to the kids asking me a ton of questions about bones and fractures to, okay, so we're doing an anatomy lesson. Let's go. We, we went from talking about character traits in terms of like patience and flexibility. I remember my middle guy, the 9-year old, saying, Mommy, I don't really know how to ask you this, but are you like I'm not saying are you liking this? Are you enjoying it? But is it bad that you're here, unable to move, or are you enjoying like the downtime? So what he was really saying to me is, does this suck? Like, oh my gosh, this is awful, or ooh, I'm enjoying a little vacation, right? And I had to, explain to him so many different things. Like that became such a great conversation because we talked about different things from like a spiritual perspective. How all things work together for good. So did God break my ankle? Absolutely not. Is anyone happy that this happened? Absolutely not. But my attitude in this season, it's what's going to matter. I can't be bitter. I can't become the grumpy old lady because I can't get what I need. Right? Like I had to model the character that I'd want them to exhibit if something happened to them. But the short answer to the question was, this is just a season. Things happen, and I always have quotes that I don't remember the the author, but I said to him, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. I say I can sit here and be the grouchiest person. I can sit here and be upset because I can't do things for myself. I can sit here and be mad because this happened to me, but I'm not a victim. And I believe that God is going to use this situation so mightily, whether it's in our family, whether it's for someone else, whether it's for testimony. And I just try to, let him understand how in every season, we just have to take what we get, but have a good attitude about it. And like that
Yes.
literally became the lesson for us.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we came across a similar type thing. When did you say you broke your ankle?
August 16th.
August. So Ruby was in the hospital with pneumonia.
I remember that.
The beginning of August. So 9 days. And that was, I mean, was just we went in and on a Wednesday, and neither of us left for 9 days. Like the two of us were in the hospital for 9 days. And that was it was hard. It was hard because she was suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, leaning on Jesus and going through that and praying over her and doing, anything, oils, like anything that would help her heal. Um, but we were both, Ruby and I can be go, go, goers, both of us. So
Mm-hmm.
for both of us, it was, okay, let's not fight this. And she, at one point, after a few days, she really did not want to be in the hospital. After a few days, she's like, you know what? I just need to be here to get better, and however long it takes, I'm just going to be here. And I was like, I'm just going to be here to be with you. Um, so she's not there alone. So the two of us were like, okay, this is where we are. This
Yeah.
is there was no reason to fight it or to be angry that we were there or to worry about the bills or whatever. This is,
The bills.
she's in need. Yeah, right. That's another story. But she's in need. She needs me. I need to be here for her. I need to be present. And the two of us just, so in that way, we were very, very able to just release that over to God and just let him, and I had a lot of conversations with a lot of people there, and I can hope that it had a positive effect on how they were functioning in the hospital, like just
Right.
some of the things. And because I would share with them, like, well, I'm hearing this, but then you're saying this, and this doesn't make sense. And how about this? And what about this? And they're like, well, oh my goodness. Well, now I got to go educate these people on something. So, like, so because I was there speaking and talking and not just going, okay, 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 they were able to help other people be better trained or whatever in what they were doing. So I think it was like growth for a lot of people.
Something came out of it.
So yeah, right. So and I also through this year, there was just things that God played out. Like I do a play every fall. And this year was just very simple. There was
Mm.
not set work to do. There was not difficult costumes. There was not, it was very simple. The whole process was very simple. So like when I recognized that that was happening, I was like, okay, what's coming? What's
Mm.
coming? Why is this so simple? Because usually we gotta build this and we gotta paint this and we gotta do this and we gotta get this really, really. And this was just so simple. And I didn't know if it was because we were coming off of the hospital stay or
Right.
whatever. Well, it turns out we're having, I won't get into it, but a lot of issues in our house regarding things. And Steve and I have needed to process and think over this because it's health related things that could have played into Ruby's pneumonia, just all these things. And we needed time to be able to process that for the sake of our family.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're like, wow, I can see. And as we were in it, I could see that a lot of times it's 2020. You're looking back, you're like, oh, I
Hindsight
can see
2020.
God was doing that. But
Yeah.
that
In the
it was
moment.
to yeah, in the moment, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. I see why this is as it is, and super grateful for God just working that out for me. So that it wasn't like we can't do the show anymore or we can't whatever, but that we could that he could allow me to be able to work through my normal with
Hmm.
the extra stress.
Yeah. That
Extra.
sounds like a scene straight out of the best Christmas pageant ever. Like when the play director got her, I won't give it away, but someone got injured and had to
Yes,
simplify things or to, delegate things.
yes.
But I understand what you're saying too, because God, I actually had this conversation with my husband this morning. I was saying to him from the outside, because I can be like you, Ginger, like, let's go, let's do this, let's do that, the library, the show, all the things. And from the outside, it may look like God slowed me down, right? But in July, I said to my boys, hey, you know that co-op we do on Mondays? Nix. You know that thing you do on Wednesday? We're not doing it. The only thing that we're going to keep is piano on Saturdays, and I'm not even taking them. My mother-in-law takes them. So I literally had no engagement, nothing, no swim, no soccer, guitar, all the things that we're doing that we loved in the moment. It was perfect for that season. I had said to them in July, we're slowing down, right? So from the outside, it may look like, oh, Ro can't take the boys to guitar anymore because she broke her ankle. No, we had already taken that off my plate. And the other thing where God is just so amazing in his faithfulness, in July, the boys and I organized our entire homeschool. Before what we did, we organized by category. So every single history book that we own would be in the history tote. What we did is we said anything that we're not using for this cycle or for this year, we're putting it in a tote away and we're just going to have what we need for the upcoming year. Also, we always started with a traditional school. We would start after Labor Day. So, after September. This year, we decided to start August 1st. And I said, it doesn't mean that we're going to work longer. It just means we take more breaks. So instead of going, taking a break, what we did was 4 weeks break or 6 weeks break, but we did it based on our lifestyle. So one kid's birthday is August 31st, we're off that week. Another kid's birthday is November, we're off that week. You and I were going to be in Texas together, we were off that week. So it was absolutely no pressure. I wasn't trying to juggle homeschooling. I was like, no, we're off that week. But because we started in August, I could take off all those 2 days, 3 days, whole weeks without feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
So when I started that, when I broke my ankle August 16th, this was a Saturday. I was in the hospital for surgery that same day, in the hospital on Sunday, discharged on Monday. So when I came home, the kids were like, "How are you?" Blah, blah, blah. And they asked me all these questions. I'm like, week 3, tomorrow. But we had already had this nice flow, thank God, because I could not imagine myself trying to orchestrate anything laying on a couch, right? And because
Hmm.
we're so organized, I can say, hey, look in the green box. You're going to see a yellow folder. Bring that to me. Look in the red box that's right upstairs beside the pink box. Grab me 3 pencils. It was so organized that we knew where everything was and we only had what we needed. Like,
Yeah.
that's God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's like your ounce of prep gives you a pound of peace,
I'm
right?
telling you, yeah. Because why would I want to start early? No
Yeah.
reason. There was no
Yeah.
reason for me to start earlier. But
Yeah.
we did, and we started. So when this happened, like I said, we're in week 3. And because we had practiced the first 3 weeks, it was a flow versus me trying to figure things out either to begin or to start in September. So God is just so faithful. And again,
Yeah.
He didn't slow me down in this way. Like we had already prepared to take some things off our plate. So it didn't feel like remorse or grief, like, oh, mommy can't take me. We already knew, right? I just think God's just so amazing in
Yeah.
how He preps us for things that we don't even know are to come.
Exactly. Exactly. He's so good. And when you have the mind to think think of it that way,
Yeah.
like, oh, was God looking out for me, right? And
Yeah.
that just increases your love for him because he's looking out for you so much instead of being like, oh, well, we missed out on that, or we missed out on that, or now we have this bill, and now, instead of, just the perspective shift, just, oh, you can see his loving care. I love those scriptures that talk about he lavishing his love on us, how he has lavished his love on us. That is like one of the best words like ever. Like it
It is.
just sounds very luxurious, but
It
that's
really
how you feel when you recognize that, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Ginger. You've seen me several times just like packing up the boys and driving out to Pennsylvania. But in Texas, my husband was there. He wasn't there because I broke my ankle. He was there because we decided this year that we're going together. Again, God, because my older 2 boys, absolutely, we could have totally done it. But with the baby, can you imagine us chasing this baby and not even chasing? Because he's fine. But if he's sleeping, can you imagine me, 2 boys, and a baby, bags, sleeping? Like, there was no way. If my
Yeah,
husband didn't come on that trip, I do not know what we were gonna do.
yeah, yeah.
That was
That was
God.
totally, yeah, that was absolutely God. Absolutely.
Yeah, we bought tickets way before this happened.
Yeah, so good.
So
He just knows. He just knows. He gives you that little nudge, right? Maybe you should do this. Maybe you should plan
absolutely.
this.
Yeah. And even at one point, because my husband served in church, at one point I was saying, so maybe the baby and I should go first and you and the boys could come after church. And like God just shut it down. He's like, no, you are all going together. And thank God we did, because it would have been so stressful. Like me in the wheelchair, the baby in the stroller, like that would have been awful. Just
He's so good to you. So
thank you,
good to you.
Jesus. So
Thank you,
tell me
Jesus.
some things that surprised you this year. And it could be in a good way or bad way.
Okay. Well, we did have like the situation that's going on in our house. That surprised us. So one of the things that I really had to process this year was, am I so wrapped up in service, outside the home, getting my kids here, there, whatever, that I'm neglecting what God has given us as a family? Am I paying attention? Like he has blessed us with a home. Am I
Mm-hmm.
taking care of that home? Um, am I maintaining it so
Mm,
that it continues to bless us, right? Or are we neglecting that because we're so busy doing the next podcast, or we're so busy hosting the next event, or we're so busy taking people to a sporting event, or whatever it may be. So that did give me pause to just examine that and think over, what I'm taking, how am I taking care of what God has given me?
Mm,
And that was a bit of a surprise. And I have done podcasts before that's been, oh, invite people into your house and don't worry about it being a mess and all that kind of stuff. So there's balance with
right.
all of that stuff. There are things that need to be maintained and need to be taken care of. And you are healthier the cleaner your home is. Not necessarily. I mean, Lysol wipes not good. You do need to have immune system building up here, but like if there's filth everywhere, that's not going to be a healthy environment, right? Or um, as you're cleaning, it brings order to chaos, right? So that I just re-listened to a podcast that I did with Dorinda Wilson, which is so sad, but she recently passed. And so I went back and listened to the podcast we did together, and she just talked about bringing order to chaos, and cleaning is that process. So, the chaos that's going on in my house, and bringing order to it, and health, and all the things that come with that. So just being reminded, of some things. And he's being very gentle. God is being very gentle with me through this whole process of, oh, wow, yeah, okay. So, and it's even more like I have been, okay, I need to be focusing on my kids, and my kids are going through some things, and praying over them and making sure that they know I'm present for them. And so I've been doing that all this year. So that's really good. But then there was this on top of that, seeing like, okay, yes, you're serving, and it's good to serve, and it's good to support others, but take care of what I have given you. And this is the place I have given you to raise your family, to bring
Mhm.
them up, and it's important to take care of that.
Agreed. So a couple things. First of all, my condolences to you. I don't know the woman that you mentioned, but I can see that it's someone who mattered to you. So my condolences to you. Um, as you were speaking, it made me think of the Proverbs 31 woman with like all the things that we have to do, right? Like this long checklist. And then it made me think of first things first, priorities, right? Because a lot of times, like even in my own life, I'll see myself saying, oh, guys, there's a thing at the library, let's go. Oh, there's this thing, let's do it. And every time we go, we enjoy it. And I'm glad that we went. But at the same time, am I prioritizing what matters? Because if you think of the word extracurricular, the operative word is extra. You're supposed to do that after you do everything else. It's not in place of. So if you're running around doing the sport or the instrument or the extracurricular activities, and the ministry that we've been given, which is our husband and children, are not taken care of, then we're out of order, right? And it's a hard thing to do because what's bad about service? What's bad about encouragement? All the things we're doing is good, but it's the order that we're doing it in. And I really have to try to figure that balance for myself too, because sometimes, and my husband and I talked about this morning, sometimes I'm so extreme on one side where I'm like cleaning like crazy. And he's like, bro, like nobody's gonna die if the house is not clean. And he doesn't say it like that, but for me, I just feel like it's my gift to them and to my sanity to have a clutter-free home. Like I can have clutter and I can be my madness to my method, but if like the entire house is out of order, then I'm doing something wrong, right? Either I spent too much time meeting or too much time doing the thing that didn't matter. So how do I make sure that I'm creating that balance in the home so that it can be a safe haven for everyone? Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I definitely think that, a lot of times we talk about extracurricular activities, forgetting that extra is the operative word. And we have to make sure that first things are first in terms of priorities. If you are not doing the ministry of marriage and the ministry of your children and keeping your home, then you don't have time for all the extra things, right? And that is sometimes a really hard balance for me because I enjoy doing all the extra things. And then other times I'm so extreme where I'm like, cleaning all the time. And it's like, my husband will be like, bro, it's okay. So you want to create that safe haven for your family. You want to create this sweet, peaceful place, but at what cost? So I just think it's really important to make sure that we have priorities. And then lastly, some of the things that surprised me in 2025 was a legislative battle that hit New Jersey. Like there were so many states that were jealous of New Jersey, and then here we are, like up in the ranks with you in Pennsylvania and New York, and even some of them were like more egregious than any other state has ever seen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was really surprising for me.
Yeah, yeah. And well, it just goes to show, I mean, that's one of those things that we need to realize and remember as homeschoolers that, I mean, people are going to come after you.
You're one legislative battle away from not
Yes, yes. You cannot assume that, oh, it's good in my state or, whatever. Even Pennsylvania. Oh, our law is so stringent. They'd never come after us. I mean, if they thought it would benefit them to come after us, they're going to come after us. So we got to be ready. And it takes one generation for freedom to disappear. So,
mm, yeah, we have to
yeah,
stay
got to be
vigilant.
vigilant. Absolutely.
So, what are some things that you're trying to remind yourself, or what's some encouragement that you have for your listeners?
So, the new year is always a really good time just to step back and look at the past few months and say, what has been going on? Like, has this been great? And like, I love what we're doing this year. This is amazing. Or is it like, oh my word, what did I do? This is not working. So, it's a great time to switch things up. I mean, why not? Why not switch things up? You're not married to your curriculum. You don't have to keep using it. You can sell it on eBay or throw it in the trash or have a burn. I mean, I had friends, honestly. I mean, they used to love burning their stuff at the end of the year. Like they would have notebooks and they would have a burn party and whatever, like they were done with it. If it's that bad and you're feeling like that right now, I think maybe to switch and it's okay to be doing that. And you know what? God is going to guide you through it. He's going to help you. And there is don't think about it being a failure.
Mm,
Our definition of success and failure is vastly different, I think, than God's definition of success and failure. And I know we talked about um, last week, we talked about being faithful. What does God ask of us? He asks us to be faithful. So He's going to provide answers and He wants us to try. He wants us to step forward in faith, doing things to bring Him glory and to train our children and ourselves to follow Him. So I just encourage everyone in that to not see what you might think is a failure could be a huge success in the eyes of the Lord because you chose to make a step toward Him, right? You chose to make a step walking with Him in what He's called you to do. So maybe it could be that you just started homeschooling and it didn't go very well, but you're continuing to do it. That is a success, right? Anything like that, or you're striving to finish well. You're on your last child. You've been homeschooling for 20 years, and your last one's coming through, and you're not giving up and saying, "Oh, just whatever." But you're staying diligent and working
yeah.
through it. That's also success. Just continuing to follow faithfully.
It really is. And faithfulness is a really important lesson because for me, one of the reminders that I have and hopefully encouragement for others is the importance of consistency over intensity. Like Ginger, I can be so intense. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna do this whole book today. And I'm like, bro, this book is made to be done in 24 to 36 weeks. Like you're not doing the whole book, right? But it's so much better to do 10 minutes per day over the course of a couple months than to try to cram it all in. And like that's not just for work, like actual workbooks, but like for anything that you're working on, the consistency of building habits and building rhythms and a flow is so much better than the intensity of just like doing everything all at once.
Hmm.
So if you're that person where you're just kind of like struggling with the rhythm or struggling with the flow, or maybe you say, okay, I'm going to teach the kids Spanish, and then by Tuesday you forgot that you were going to do it, so then you're trying to do the whole quarter in a day. Don't do that. 10
Yeah,
minutes is so much more impactful every day than trying to do 3 hour sessions in one day.
absolutely. If it's draining, it's not going to stick, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All right, Ginger. So goals. What is your vision for 2026 personally for your home and also for CHAP?
Okay, so personally, and this goes with along what I was saying earlier. Um, one of my goals is just to make sure our home is healthy.
Mm.
And I'm not saying I'm not Lysol and everything and Clorox and everything. I don't, whatever. I don't do that, but just make sure that I'm staying up with taking care of what I've been given and getting the kids involved and teaching them because lo and behold, someday they're going to have to take care of their own homes, right? So this is all learning experience for all of us. Um, so just making sure that we're doing that and just continue listening closely to the kids. Like pay attention. Like pay attention to what they're saying. Pay attention to the emotion that they're showing when they're not saying something, because sometimes that says way more than what the words will ever say.
Nonverbal communication.
Uh, yeah, yeah, just really taking the time. Honestly, it's not that you don't notice those things usually. It's just that you don't bother to take the, or I should say you, I don't bother to take the time to process it. And
Right.
what does it mean? And what should I be doing with
Or
this?
sometimes I
Um,
intentionally ignore it.
yeah,
Let's be
uh,
honest.
yeah, yeah, right. Um, and the last thing, like for myself, is just really if God puts something on my heart that needs shared, just to be faithful to share it. And that might be surprising. You might be surprised that I say that particular thing, being that I share things a lot with you guys, but um they in my role with the drama, with directing dramas, I took a new tack this year with some of my actors and how I approach them and how I approach the cast as a whole and seeing it more as this is my class that I'm teaching because I'm good at it. And instead looking at it as, okay, God has put me here. What do these kids need? Why have you made me their director? What is it that they need from my life experience or from you through me or whatever? Um, and then if God brings something to me to have the nerve to say it, to bring it out and to say it. So really just to be that vessel, to just yield myself to be that vessel that God has put me here to be. And I can say like I did do some baby steps in that way with drama this year, and it was really good. It was really really good. So he rewards that faithfulness, encourages you on in your faithfulness to him. So that is personally, those are three things that I'm looking at personally. CHAP is coming up on a major year. It's a milestone. Yay. So this coming year, 2026, will be CHAP's 40th anniversary. So we came into being in 1986. So we're going to be celebrating 40 years of supporting the homeschool community, which is wow.
Now
Just
that's faithfulness.
yes, through God's faithfulness, we have just had amazing things happen over the past 40 years and wonderful stories and just amazing how God continues to grow and change, CHAP and the things we're going to be doing, continuing to reach out through people in many different ways. But we're also honored to be celebrating it with our nation, which is going to be 250 next year. So that is super exciting. So we share our birthday. So that's nice. A monumental year birthday. So yeah, so the convention theme for next year is Romans 12:12. So it's the short version, which is rejoice and hope. But my version of the scripture that I study at home says, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer, which what a way to live.
Right.
It's just a wonderful, maybe you want to make that your theme verse out there. Maybe you want to make that your theme verse for the year. I don't know, but joyful in hope, patient in affliction, which let's face it, sometimes homeschooling feels like an affliction, but we'll be patient in it. And we'll be faithful in prayer over all the things because that's us yielding to God, right? And walking closely with Him. So,
That is fantastic. For the boys for 2026, I said that we're going to do Imago Day. So it's going to be like walking in the image of God,
mm,
like his identity and his image. That's going to be our homeschool theme. But I wrote down some thoughts for myself. Like I said, I wanted to have more peace, make sure that I have like more margin in my days.
mm, mm,
making sure that we're leading into the simplicity and just working on my patience because that's like my dominant flaw. But like as you said, Romans 12, so I'm like, yes, that's it. I want to be joyful in hope. I want to be patient in affliction and faithful in prayer. So I'm definitely going to adopt that for myself. But I just want to make sure that my home is full of curiosity and
Mm,
calm. I want to make sure that the kids enter with confidence and grace. And I want everyone listening to remember that you're not behind, your children are not behind. Do not compare yourselves to other people. Your child should only compare him or herself to him or herself, right? So if they got a 60 on their math test and now they're getting a 70, that's progress. It doesn't matter what their brother is doing or what their sister is doing or what their neighbor is doing. It doesn't matter. They're in a lane by themselves and they're not behind. Behind what? Behind who? Make sure that you're not comparing your children. Do not fall into the trap of comparison. And we're giving you permission to rest, right? Like if you're one of the people like me who used to like try to go steam head towards the end of the year, we're giving you permission to rest, right? Like by the time you hear this, if you need to take a few days off in January, we want to give you that permission.
mhm,
You do
mhm.
not have to start on January 2nd or January 3rd. The Monday is the 5th. You do not even have to start that day. As the leader of your homeschool, you get to make those decisions. And if you feel you need to take that first week to reset or to reflect because you didn't do it before, that is completely okay. You get to make all those decisions. So we just want to give you that permission to rest, permission to change what isn't working because why continue, and permission to do less so that you can have more. And that's our hope for you.
Yeah, that is wonderful. Such a good idea. And you know what? In that rest, I mean, that's learning. There's things happening. Okay, like
Absolutely.
if you're so concerned about getting the days in, if you're in Pennsylvania, oh, I gotta get my days in.
Mhm.
There's stuff going on. I'm telling you, if your kids got Legos for Christmas or whatever it is, building thing, art, whatever, they're learning stuff. They're using their minds. And sometimes you need to learn about rest. You need to learn what that looks like, right? You need to learn how can we rest together? Maybe it's puzzles. Puzzles is great, actually.
Yeah.
But yes,
Teaching team building.
yes, yes. Take that time together and just enjoy each other. I just think about snow. It's supposed to snow here tomorrow. I hope it does. But I just think about snow and cocoa and movies and or my Christmas lights and or maybe doing a puzzle, whatever. But yeah, rest. Yes, rest is good.
So wherever you're listening from, whether it's Pennsylvania or New Jersey
Hmm.
or anywhere across the nation, we just want to wish you a happy new year. We want to wish you peace, grace, calm, and like Romans 12:12 says, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and be faithful in prayer.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Any final thoughts, Ginger?
Well, you know what? I'm just lean on Jesus. It's like I keep saying all the time, lean on Jesus. He he wants you to. He wants you to lean on him. Yeah. And if we're leaning on him and trusting on him, he's not gonna let us down.
That's right.
So don't doubt it. Yeah.
Woohoo. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right, everyone. Bye.
See ya. Have a great 2026 beginning.